Hey, I'm back. New video very quickly after the old one. You're probably not used to that. We'll get used to it, but don't, because it probably won't happen all that often. I'm sick right now, and I'm really bored. So I figured I'd talk about a thing for a minute. So if I cough and sputter and make noise and my voice sounds bad, well, it sounds bad normally, so that's not much different. But if it sounds nasally and bad, that's not normal. I apologize in advance. Just have to roll with the punches. Anyways, I want to talk a little bit about the whole working thing I talked about in the other video. I was frustrated with selling too much of my time this year versus using the time to get things done here. And it's very easy to fall into the trap of I'm only selling 2 or 3 or 4 hours here, 5 or 6 hours there, ain't a big deal. Hey, I made, $400, it's great. But I'm telling you, and when you make it a habit, you compromise on a lot of things. You spend more money because you're not at home, so you can't prepare and do things as efficiently. And you just don't really get to appreciate a lot of the good things in life because you're spending so much time working. And I'm going to tell you a story about this guy I've been working with in particular. Because the other jobs I've got right now, I've been doing maintenance work at that apartment for a retired pastor I know. That's what that's been about. And I'm doing, what was the other thing? I'm doing some work for my parents and some other stuff. Stuff for a guy named Dave. I'm not going to get into it. I do a lot of stuff for different people on the side. I could sit here and think about it all day, but we're not going to do that. I'm going to just tell you a story about this guy because I made a major decision, and I'm glad I did it. Basically the beginning of last week, but I executed on it on Thursday. And it was quitting from the job that paid me the best. That wasn't the job that I normally work, which is that camp. And you might think, Alec, why would you quit working for a guy that pays you ridiculous amounts of money, cash, no taxes? You just get you get paid. It doesn't take me very long to make $100 working for this guy. But I've worked for people like this guy before, and the second I fucking met him, I knew it was going to be this problem. There are certain people that can't separate work and not work and play, but work. I'm very careful to, how did I put this? Give me a second. Sorry. Gotta think. Woo! Some good tea. A lot of people that I've worked with on the side are very bad at separating work relationships with out of work, friend relationships. They mix them together. And if they do that, you're just kind of fucked. Because it's not just, when I work for you, I want to clock out. I don't want to think about it anymore. I got my own stuff to do. I've got 40 fucking acres here. I got things I got to improve. I got stuff to work on. I don't want to be your drinking buddy. I don't want to fucking, go all over the fucking place. I don't want that shit. If I did want to do it, you'd know. But the problem I have is when you work with people like that, they drag you around. They'll give you stuff. They do nice things for you, and I fucking hate that, because if a friend is doing something nice for me, that's fine, and I can you want to do nice things back, and that's a whole thing. But when you're in a business relationship, I am selling you my time and labor, and you are giving me money. That's where I want it to end. If I like you as a person and we get along, we can do stuff outside of work. That's perfectly fine. But even then, I don't like doing that, because then that still gets brought into the work business. But this dude, it's all crisscrossed and it's all together, and you don't want to, it's fucked, because I put off actually quitting for a few days because I was thinking, like, how do I want to approach this guy? How do I want to say it? Is he going to take it bad? Like, all that shit. It's like breaking up with a girlfriend, and it's stupid because it's like, I should just go up to this fucking dude and say, hey, I don't have any time. I can't work for you. Sorry. And it should be that simple. But because it's intertwined, and I only worked for this guy for like a month and a half. So it's like, these are the types of people where the longer you work with them, the more like entrenched you get. Like, oh, you're going to quit on me after I did blah, 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 blah. It's like, I didn't ask for that. I showed up. I fucking did work. You paid me. That's all I wanted. I didn't want you giving me smoked meats and driving me around and taking me to hunting camp. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't like you that much. I don't like you as a person. No offense. No offense. But, that was the thing. So, fortunately, it wasn't as dramatic as I thought it was going to be, but he was passive-aggressive. I was worried that he was going to be actively aggressive, which I'll take what I can get. And it's frustrating. This is a guy, and I have respect for people that are like this. He built the business from fucking nothing, doing shore work. So basically, we did docks, we did lifts, we did taking them in and out, moving them. Shore work, we threw rocks on the shores, trimmed shores, shit like that, raked, things like that. So like stuff on the big chain of lakes that's down in Vilas County. And that was his job. And he started with fucking nothing. He would drive to a place and like take lifts out and shit. And that's awesome. I think that's cool. He eventually bought a barge. He's got a mini excavator. He's got a fucking front end loader that takes like 15 yards. It's impressive. It's cool to see. But I have my own ambitions. And this is a man, because his entire world is this business. He's got the blinders on. He can only see a few feet in front of him because he's so used to thinking just about his business. And he brings me in because the reason I met this guy is that my boss at the camp has been working with him for probably 2 or 3 years now, something like that. And I've seen him here and there every now and then. And eventually some other guy quit on him, so he asked if I could help, and I said sure. And it seemed fine at first. I needed a little bit of a kick in the pants. I needed a little bit of money to pay the rest of my property taxes, shit like that. So I was fine with that for the moment. But, October and the end of September are very crucial times for what I do, because you never know when the snow's going to fall. And the second that happens, it's over. Anything that's out, you're not seeing it for 6 months. Anything that's left undone, it's not going to get done unless it's inside, which fortunately I have a lot of indoor projects I can work on this year, like a lot of the stuff in here. So it's very crucial that things get done in a timely manner, or literally you're fucked for half a year. I signed up for that. That's just the way it is. And the problem that I have constantly, excuse me, sorry. The problem I have constantly, everyone's busy when I'm the busiest. This guy does his majority of his work in the spring and in the fall. Guess when I plant, guess when I reap, guess when I'm getting ready for winter. Like, if it was in the summer, it wouldn't be that bad. If it was in the winter, that'd be great, because I don't really do that much in the winter anyways. But no one ever has any fucking work at those times. I don't know why. Well, I know why. But it's really fucking annoying, man. I hate it. So, like, I kept thinking about it. It's like, this dude is asking me, like, if I didn't tell him I couldn't work on Sundays, due to my religious observations, he'd fucking run me fucking ragged. He'd be fucking asking me every time I get off work at this fucking camp, he'd be asking me every goddamn day if I'd work for him. And the answer most of the time is going to, if it was up to me, is going to be no. Now, I was told that it would be fine. But again, knowing this guy, knowing what he says behind people's backs, because he'd say it to me, I don't know why. It's a fucking horrible thing to do if you're a boss. It's not okay to say no. If you say no to working, he thinks you're a fucking bitch. And he granted me these exceptions for religious reasons because he knew that he wouldn't win if he fucking pushed me on it. I'd probably quit. And that was half the reason why I quit, because he still fucking pushed me on it anyways. But I'll get to that in a minute. So like I said, I have a decent amount of respect for this guy in terms of business, but personally speaking, he is kind of a complete piece of shit. He's a father, and he's a good father. I'll give him that. He's not a good husband. Straight up said to his wife, they got in a fucking argument while I was there, and then he's like, I'm gonna replace you! And then we fucking drove off, and he's like, the thing is, she knows I'm serious. You know, if she keeps pushing me, I'm gonna replace her. And he's a fucking hothead, so like, I don't know if that's serious. I haven't known him long enough to know if that's true, but if you're gonna act like that towards people that you're supposed to love the most in your life, I don't want to be anywhere near you. Like, I don't want to do any fucking business with you. I'm good. I'm fine. Stay away from me. Stay away from me! But, that's one example. Just the way he fucking treats people that work for him is bad, including me. If you like getting screamed at, I guess it's a fucking decent way of living, working for this fucking guy. But I really hate, because I feel like I'm a good sport most of the time when it comes to people yelling at me, especially if I do something wrong. But like literally for fucking minor mistakes that don't matter that much, you get fucking screamed at. And a few times I snapped back, and that was not that was not good. This dude was much physically bigger than me. He was fat, but also like 3 inches taller than me or something. The dude could fucking kill me. So it's not good. It's not good. So there was that horrible personality, just not a good. He could be a good guy. He could actually be pleasant to be around, and that was perfectly fine. But it's frustrating when you're dealing with somebody and you never know if they're going to be like a cool guy, a fucking, pain in the ass. They're going to fucking scream at you. Like, you never know. It's just, what side of the bed did he fucking wake up that morning? That's the problem. I hate that shit. I fucking hate it. See, when I show up to work, you get pretty much the same thing every time. I show up, I ask what I need to get done. I like to think I have a pretty amicable personality most of the time. Sometimes I'm a little, frustrated, and usually then I just don't talk. That's the thing. When I get mad, I just don't talk to people because I know I'm going to be a fucking pain in the ass if I talk to people. And I mean, I guess he didn't really have that choice, but it's just like, I still, like, you got to have some fucking self-control. You're a father. You're a husband. You own a business. Like, you got to watch your tongue. And this guy's gotten into plenty of fucking fistfights that I've heard about secondhand. Pardon me. And firsthand. He's told me a few times too. But, just really, really horrible personality. Kept shitting on me for going to church and all that shit. And I got no patience for that. I got no patience. And I told him 4 times, like, can you knock it off, please? Like, I'm fine with joking about most things. That's fine. I take this shit seriously. Can you please fucking stop joking about it? And he'd say yeah, and then he'd just do it again. It's like, why do you think I want to keep working with you if you're going to fucking keep acting like this? And, my whole thing, and the whole reason that he, this clock might start doing something weird. We'll see. The whole reason he hired me and paid me as much as he did and is adamant about me being there as much as I was. I have a very high stamina, endurance, I don't know what you call it. I can do the same difficult physical thing for fucking hours and not get tired. I don't know why, I just have that ability. So, like, throwing rocks on the shore to build up a shoreline to prevent erosion, no one wants to do that. I think it's fun. I like throwing rocks. I'm basically a fucking caveman. But no one else wants to do that, and most people get tired after like an hour of it. But you know, me and him, and sometimes Tyler, we'd do it for 6-8 hours, and he'd be getting tired, and I'm just fucking going. He's like, "Oh, I'll let you fill this one in. I'll do something else," and it's like, okay, I can do that, I guess. So that's the value he saw in me, is that I can do, you know, repetitive hard labor that no one wants to do. Well, that's most people see in me, and that's why I'm here, by the way. So, you know, that's why he hired me. And, you know, the problem is, especially when you're doing hard physical labor for somebody else, that's energy you're expending for somebody else that you're not using for yourself. Because even if you get back at a reasonable time after doing that, which we often would because you get tired at like 4. So I'd have a few hours when I get home. The problem is when you stop working, you get tired. So that's my whole thing, is I don't sit down until I'm done. And I don't sit down, I don't eat. And I don't stop working until I'm done, because I know if I stop, it's going to be hard to start again. Like, hopefully this thing stops. I may have to reach up and take care of this clock for a minute. We'll see. But anyways, pretty sure that was 12 strikes. Can you stop? This clock sometimes does not stop chiming. I have the chime off, but I can hear the mechanism going, and it's not stopping. I'm gonna have to. Come on, buddy. It's enough. You can stop. 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 There we go. All right. My apologies. New clock. I don't know how it works. Where was I? Damn it. I just entirely lost my train of thought. Shit. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. I remember. So when you're doing hard work for somebody else, you're going to come home and you've had enough time, because this guy, his base of operations is in Manitowish Waters, which is 40 minutes away from me. So I spent 40 minutes driving home, and you get tired. So you get home, you don't want to keep doing stuff. You're going to just either go to bed, or you're going to laze around, or like do nothing. So it's like you lose time, not just in what you sell, but in recuperating from what you just did. And I don't get, like, I could just wake up the next day and do it over and over and over again, which is why he liked me. But eventually you're going to start, you know, messing your back up. Stuff like that. So it's a matter of time. And when I mess my back up, I want it to be on my terms, not somebody else's, because this is also because it's a cash gig. You know, if something really bad happens to me, I have no insurance. He isn't liable, because technically I'm not his employee. Like, it's a really complicated situation. The shit we were doing was incredibly dangerous. You know, we were moving lifts on a barge that was operating with a winch. It was really fucked. Like, if you messed it up, you could easily get crushed to death, or you know, lose a limb. Things like that. It just wasn't good. You know, obviously throwing rocks has its own occupational hazards. If you do it wrong, you can mess your back up, stuff like that. And, you know, one time in particular, we were moving a lift for a friend of his, and it was damaged. I mean, there was no, so the way the lifts work is it's like a scissor. So it's like this, and then there's a cable that goes to a box, and then it goes like, that's how it works. and it was missing the cable. So he tied this boat lift up because it has to be up to move it. I don't really know why, actually, but apparently it does. So he tied it up to move it with the shittiest rope I've ever seen in the world. And I was like, okay, that's fine, you know, it's just being moved, whatever. So we get to shore. Or was it when we got to shore? No, we had to go under a bridge, so we had to take a fucking roof off. So we were standing on this fucking boat, taking the roof off of this lift with this shitty rope holding this thing up, like probably about as tall as me. So that's when the rope broke. When the rope broke, because there were 3 grown ass fucking men standing on this thing, it fell like my height, slammed down onto this boat, and I am amazed I did not fall forward and get crushed, because all the stuff that compresses was right in front of me. And I actually was not injured at all. If I was, I would have immediately quit. But I watched this steel girder slam that dude square in the head. It was like slow motion. It was like a action replay, or what do they call it in sports? Whatever. It was like watching something in slow motion, and it was fucked. And then there was this other dude that almost broke his leg. Fortunately, it did not happen, but he was hurting. So I felt lucky because somehow I didn't fall forward and crush myself. Probably not to death, but I would have been laid up for months. And, you know, if I was a sane person, that would have been the point where I would have said, you know, hey, maybe this is a bad idea. Okay, I was right. Okay. But, you know, I was not thinking with a full box of crayons, whatever the term is. And I was like, yeah, I didn't really get hurt, so it's fine. But that should have been a huge indicator that working for this guy was a horrible idea. But it was just stuff like that. And then one of the last days I worked, we had a serious error almost happen that almost flipped the entire boat over, because he was rushing because he had to go pick up his kids from fucking school or whatever. So he wanted to get these 6 lifts done real quick. He almost flipped his fucking boat over, and it was bad. It was bad, and that was at that point, and he was being a fucking hard ass, and I was really tired of it. It was at that point I'm like, okay, I gotta stop doing this. I can't keep fucking doing this. I'm gonna fucking die or get seriously injured, and I'm just gonna be fucked. And I'm not willing to do that. Pardon me. Now, the guy fucking drank a lot too, which, great influence. I'm trying to get over that shit. Everyone I fucking meet that's like that, if I don't cut him out of my life, it just slowly fucks me up. And he is probably one of the worst influences I could have possibly had. So, all those factors combined, really good money, horrible person to work for, horrible job, horrible fucking working conditions, incredibly dangerous, not insured, not legally employed. Like, it all adds up. It's like, you know, is potentially risking my life and getting critically injured and fucked up worth, you know, the money he was paying me? And ultimately the answer I came to was no. So I quit. And that's that story. So it's one of those things you always have to watch out. You have to watch out for people that demand your time and get really petty when you don't want to give it. And every industry I've seen this in. I've seen it in computers. I've seen it in farming. I've seen it in trades like this. I've seen it in other things. I'm not going to go through the whole list. I've worked for a lot of people in my life on the side. And that is one of the most potent indicators that you should not work for somebody unless you're willing to make it like your job. And by your job, I mean you're working 6 days a week. If you're lucky, you're probably going to be working 7. Because some people are just nuts. Like, some people are just fucking completely nuts. Like, I need time to be on my property and enjoy the fruit of my labor and, you know, cook a good meal and have a good time, I can't just constantly be working, or I get really depressed, and that's usually when I drink the most. It's just not good. It's not a good way of being. And the fact that I meet so many people that are like this, and that our society at large encourages that behavior, it's not good. There's nothing wrong with working hard, but I feel like the work you do should be for yourself and for, not for your, well, yeah, for yourself, but in doing things for yourself, it should also be helping others that you love and care about in a fundamental way. That's why I like working on the land. That's why I like doing stuff here. Because every time I make an improvement, every time I build a structure or just like anything like that, there's something that I have permanent record of that continues to make things better over time. And it's really encouraging. But when I sell my time to some fucking dude that screams at me and fucking nearly kills me a bunch of times, like, there's nothing enjoyable about that. Even if it pays well. Like, oh yeah, here's $1,000, enjoy it. It's like, you know, is what I just went through worth $1,000? I don't think so. And that's, you have to quantify those intangibles in terms, you got to reduce it to money, because if you think about it, it's like, I'm selling my time for X dollars an hour. What does that entail? What am I doing? What are the risks? What could go wrong? Like, what if this, what if that? You have to factor that all in. And if the math doesn't add up, especially with the intangibles, because those are things you're really easy to overlook until it happens to you, then you're fucked. You got to just say no sometimes. You just got to say no. And I'm willing to spend longer getting the money I need to invest in projects than I am to sell more of my time to get the money quicker. Because it's you sap the joy out of life doing shit like that. It's just not good. It's not a good way of being. So yeah, that's the lesson from this story. Trying to think if I forgot about anything. Probably not. If I feel like I did, I'll upload another video. Why not? Hope you enjoyed it. See ya.